Okay, I guess we won't wait any longer. Right, so welcome everyone. Okay, nice to see you guys back. I think this is our second official event after Bite Buddies. Yeah, so how is everyone? Okay, I guess nobody's gonna reply me, right? But okay, I suppose by now you guys should have your first meet up with your mentors, right? Hopefully you guys have participated in those sessions, and if you did not, then just remember to participate next week. Okay, just make some time for it. It's a good catch-up session uh for you to have some fun with your friends and your mentors. Okay, so without further ado, welcome to CodeStart. Okay, this is a Python introductory workshop for year one, sem one students. Okay, I believe the reason most of you are here today is to learn a little bit of basics of Python, and also maybe some of you are interested in participating in the competition that we'll be having next week. Right, so next slide, please. Okay, so just a reminder, so today's workshop will run for around 2 to 2.5 hours. Okay, and attendance for today's workshop is compulsory if you want to join next week's coding competition. Okay, so again, if any of your friends or partners have not joined yet, just remind them to join in before we begin. But let's get things out of the way. So next week's competition, okay, just to remind you guys on some details, it'll be on Saturday, next Saturday, okay, 12 to 3 p.m. at classroom 6302. So if you don't know where that is building 6, level 3. Okay. So building 6 is the canteen, is the building where the canteen is. Okay, just so you know. So just go to level 3 of that building, and the second classroom will be where we will be having our competition. Okay, so uh very generous rewards will be given to the top three teams. Okay, first place will get 150 ringgit, second place 100 ringgit, and third place 50 ringgit. Okay, so by now I think most of you should know who your teammate will be because this competition will be run in teams. Yeah, so scan this QR code or click on the link in the chat. Chiu Hui has sent the link to a Google spreadsheet. Okay, so in that Google spreadsheet, we need all of you to fill in your team name, the name of the team members, and also your HackerRank IDs. Okay, so this competition will be held on HackerRank. So if you don't know what HackerRank is, just head onto Google, search up HackerRank, and sign up for an account. Just it's gonna take like 30 seconds. Okay, so try to fill this in as soon as possible. Best by today. Okay, so we can finalize the team names and everything straight away. But yeah, uh we'll leave the link to the spreadsheet in the chat. So just feel free to head in and fill it whenever you want. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so today it's not gonna be me leading the workshop, it's not gonna be Chiu Hui leading the workshop. Okay, we have a very special speaker for you guys. Okay, we have invited Dr. Brian Leong, who is a Python master. Okay, so he'll be today's instructor. So after this, I'll pass the session on to him. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun and learn something. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
Hey, hi guys. Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, that's great. I'm not a PhD student, by the way. Okay, there's no need for a doctor. All right, let's start today's workshop. Okay, this is a spider. What happens if you get bitten by this spider? You turn into Spider-Man, right? And what happens if you get bitten by a python? You turn into Tyler. Okay, let's see what we're going to learn today. Today we're going to learn just the basics of Python, right? The basic stuff that you will need for the competition next week and probably the first 3 or 4 weeks of your FIT 1045 also for this semester. So we'll be covering variables, lists, functions, conditional statements, which means the if statements, and then also the loops, right? And we'll also cover dictionaries if there's time during this workshop, yeah? All right, so let's get into it. The first thing is variables. Okay, who can give me a short description of variables? What do you understand variables as? Just yeah, just throw some ideas into the chat. A name that points to a value. Yep, that's good. Anything else? Containers that store data. Okay, exactly. Right, this is exactly the slide that I prepared, right? It's containers for storing values. So, for example, let's say we have a box, right? We have a carton, a box, and we call it box A. So that's the variable name, right? The name of the box, we can call it box A. If you choose to call it box number one, we can also call it box number one, right? Because we are the ones that are setting the variable name. And then inside the box, what's stored inside the box is the value, right? It can be a tree, it can be a word, can be a book, can be a dictionary, right? So all these are just variables. Let's look at some. I don't know if this is high school or primary school math, or maybe it's like kindergarten for some of you guys. So 2x plus 6 equals 10, 2x equals 4, and so x equals 2, right? We know that the variable, what's the variable over here? The variable name is x. And after solving the equation, we know that the variable value is 2, right? So uh, can you change the name x to something else? Let's say you want it to become 2a plus 6 equals 10, right? In the end, you'll still get a equals 2. So you are the one that can set the variable name, okay? And then the variable name will store this variable value, okay? Right, let's look at another example. So Jess has 50 pop marks. By now, it's probably like 100. And Tyler has 30 pop marks less than Jess. So how many pop marks does Tyler have? Right, this is like a kindergarten question or so. So uh, how do we put this in terms of variables? Like the variable names and the values. So first, we see that we can put Jess, and Jess as the variable name, and then the value, which is number of pop marks, will be 50, right? Makes sense to everyone, right? Okay, next. Then Tyler, how many pop marks does Tyler have? He has 30 less than Jess. So equals Jess minus 30, right? Makes sense to everyone, right? Now, how can we write this in Python? Okay, I know some of you are very new to Python. Maybe you haven't even touched it before. So let's write our first Python code, okay? So Jess equals 50 because Jess has 50 pop marks. Next line, Tyler has 30 less pop marks than Jess. So Tyler equals Jess minus 30. All right. And there, we've just created our first two variables. Okay, so this is how you create a variable. You just write variable name equals, then the value over here. Okay, let me show you uh, other examples of creating some variables. Uh, okay, so let's just write the same thing that we did just now. Jess equals 50, and then Tyler equals Jess minus 30, right? Now, if you run this code, nothing will come out. Okay, it's just an empty terminal because you're just declaring the variables, right? So you have the variables that are stored in the memory of this computer that your program created and stored in this computer, but you didn't do anything with it, right? You just have these two variables. And what can we do next? So if let's say I ask you how many pop marks does Tyler have, then you can print out the variable called Tyler. Okay, let's try that. So print Tyler. Okay, and then it should print out 20. There you go. Okay, let's run it again. You see it prints out 20. Good. So this is the most basic Python code. which is just declaring variables, and then you can print out the variable itself. All right. Any questions? Yeah, if there's any questions, you just write in the chat, then we will answer the questions. Okay. So yeah, these are the 20 pop marks that Tyler has. All of them are Shuhui's face. Okay. So if you see a hashtag in Python, if you see a hashtag, it doesn't mean that it's like, I don't know, what's that for? Instagram? I don't know, is it TikTok? Something like that. Yeah, it's not. It's a comment. Okay. So let's say over here, you want to change, let's say you write over here, hashtag Jess equals 5,000. Okay. Then if you run the thing, it will still be 20. Because why? Because this line is ignored. Okay. So all comments in your Python code will be ignored. And comments are shown by this hashtag sign here. Okay, so no matter what you write here, you can write anything you want. Okay, and then it'll just be ignored. You can put comments anywhere in your code, right? And let's say it's good practice to explain your code as you go along, right? So let's say you want to add a comment that uh 50 hot marks, okay, to show that it is referring to a number of hot marks, right? So you can add a comment in the same line as the code, okay? Just that the comment has to be after the code, lor. Then you just add the hashtag sign. All right, so anything after the hashtag sign will be not. All right, next. So yeah, we've seen that the variable name is Jess, and the variable value is 50. Okay, and now let's talk about something else, the variable type. Okay, so uh before you knew about Python, right? If you see this 50 and you see this that's minus 30, 50 minus 30 equals 20, right? So if you see 50 and 20, the type that you think of is numbers, right? Or maybe whole numbers. Okay. But in Python, we call it an integer. Okay, integer basically just means whole numbers. So since this is a whole number, the type will automatically be an integer. All right, similarly over here, the value of the variable Tyler is 20. And the type of this variable is an integer. All right, here. Let's look at some other uh, data types in Python. So these are the basic types, all right, those that we'll be dealing with today and in the competition as well next week. The first one is a string. Okay, so strings, to some of you, you may think that it's like words. Okay, you may think that it's anything besides numbers. Okay, that's not actually correct because you can in fact put numbers inside a string. Okay, so strings, how do you recognize a string? Strings are differentiated by the quotes. Okay, the apostrophe or quotes or whatever you call it. All right, let's see. Let's do something new. Okay, uh, Tyler surname equals Han. All right, so you can either do this or Tyler surname equals Han. All right, so either single quotes or double quotes, both work. Both are the same. Then if you print Tyler surname, you will get Han. Okay. And then, so yeah, so this is for strings. All right. Let's say you want to put numbers in a string. You can also, right? So let's say Tyler student ID equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. You can also do Tyler student ID equals double quotes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then when you print student ID, you will get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Right. So this is for strings. The next one is integers, right? The same one that we talked about just now. So it's just whole numbers, right? Whole numbers, it can be negative, it can be positive. So when you declare a variable, an integer variable, you just need to write the value as an integer. Okay. The next one is float. Float is basically decimal. numbers with decimal points, okay? So the actual name is floating point numbers. So it can be, yeah, it can be negative decimals, positive decimals. So let's say value of pi equals 3.142. All right. So this is an integer and this is a float. The only difference is that this has decimal places. Okay. All clear? Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is more interesting. This is a Boolean. All right. Some of you probably have learned before in high school, like in what's that, physics or is it maths? Like you have those. Like you do the electric thing, then you connect the wire, then you got the don't know what the and or and all that, right? Then you see this word before Boolean. So basically, it can only have one of two values, true or false. Okay. And in Python, uh, these values these values must start with a capital letter. So true and false must start with a capital letter. Okay. So Tyler handsome equals, I don't know, should I put true or false? Okay, true lah. So true with a capital letter. All right. So Tyler handsome equals true. If let's say you put Tyler handsome equals small letter true, okay, let's comment this out. And then let's say I want to print Tyler handsome. Let's see what happens. See, there'll be an error. Okay, it's an error because the name true is not defined, right? Because this, you didn't say it's a string, right? If you say it's a string, you put it like this, then it will print out the string called true, means the word true, okay? But it doesn't mean true. The word is just true, right? But Python doesn't interpret it as true. If you want Python to interpret it as true, then you need to put this capital letter here, okay? Then when it will print out the word also. But then Python understands this statement that Tyler is actually handsome, right? So let's say one day, I don't know, his whole face is full of pimples, and then you all think that he's not handsome anymore. Then if you want false, it needs to start with a capital letter too. Okay? So these are Booleans. These are the Boolean data types. Either true or false. All right? Okay, let's see next. List. Okay, we will talk about this very soon. Okay, but this is basically identified by the square brackets. Dictionaries are identified by curly brackets. And then there's one special one, which is called none. Okay, it's just none. So it means that when you declare a variable, right? Remember you had the variable uh, name and value, right? So if you put none, it means the value just doesn't hold anything. Okay, means sort of like null, or it's just an empty value. Okay, so Python, the way Python does this is, let's say some of you like refuse to answer whether Tyler is handsome or not, right? So you want to opt out. Okay, so you just put none. Again, this is with a capital letter. Okay, and then so it'll show that you refuse to answer whether Tyler is handsome or not. All right, so remember, yeah, this is not a Boolean, this is none. Okay, so this data type called none type has only one value called none. All right, whereas the Boolean data type has either true or false. Okay, all clear? Let's move on. What is this? Yeah, the Zoom thing is blocking. Oh yeah. Okay, arithmetic operators. So just now you saw how to do like addition, right? And you saw the equal sign also. So these are the rest of stuff that these are the basic stuff that you can do in Python. Okay, plus is plus, minus is just a normal minus sign, multiplication will be the asterisk, division will be the uh left slash, normal slash, and this is power. Okay, power is double asterisk. And then modulus, I think you guys will learn this in your maths unit this semester. So modulus is basically like uh 1 modulus 2 is 1, because the remainder lah. Then 2 modulus 2 is 0, because 2 divided by 2, then remainder is 0. Okay, so 3 modulus 2 is also 1. that kind of thing. Okay. And then floor division basically is the after you divide a number, then you ignore the remainder. You ignore decimal points. Okay, so over here in this example, x equals 5, y equals 2. So x floor division y. So 5 floor division 2 is just 2. Okay, division is 2.5, but then if you ignore decimal places, the integer is just 2. All right, and then modulus 5 divided by 2 is 2 remainder 1, right? Yeah, so the 1, the remainder of 1 is the modulus value. Okay, so just remember the percentage sign and the double slash. Okay, these two are the not so commonly seen operators. Okay, let me just show you a couple of examples of this. Okay, so let's say you want to print uh 5 to the power of 3. Okay, should be 125. Let's see whether it's correct. Yeah, it's 125. Okay, and then let's say you want to print what's it called? A modulus. Let's print a modulus. So 100 modulus 30. Okay, so it's 3 times 30 is 90, and the remainder is 10, right? So that's why the modulus is 10. What happens if you print 100 raw division 30? So it will just be 3. Okay, because it ignores all the remainders. All right, let's move on to lists. So what are lists? Remember just now in a variable, we only stored one item, right? So Tyler handsome equals uh, false. Okay, so it's only one value. Okay, but now what if we want to store multiple items in one variable, right? So we can use list. Let's see. Let's say maybe we have a list of your grades for this semester, right? You're taking 4 units, right? So maybe the first one you got 80, second one you got 85, third one you got 92, and the last one you got 86. Now all HD, you're genius, you're GPA 4.0 student, right? So maybe you want to send these results to your friend or to your parents or to brag on social media or something, right? And then you can put this in a list. Okay. So what this list means is basically it's like separate cells for each value. And then all these cells uh come together under one variable. Okay, one variable only. And let's say you have a list of Honda cars, right? So this is how you create a variable using square brackets. Okay, and then each item inside the list is separated by a comma. Okay, square brackets separated by comma, square brackets separated by comma. All right, so similarly as before, you need to take note of your data type, right? So these are integers, okay, whole numbers. These are all strings. Okay, these are all strings. Uh, okay, let's try some examples. Okay, maybe Toyota cars, right? What is that? Okay, that's Camry. All right. So you start with square bracket, and then you put a string called Camry, and then comma, and then next item. String. Okay, you need the codes for string, and then VIOS. Right? If you're done, then that's it. If you want to add more items, then you just add a comma. Okay, put a comma, and then a new string here. Yeah, VIOS. Okay, and then to print the list, just print the variable name, then you will get this list. Okay, so you see the list here, the way it's printed out, it's the same way that it is the same way that I wrote it over here. Okay. Uh, just a tip for you guys. Next time when maybe you have long lists and you feel like it looks very messy in your code, okay, you can always after you create the square brackets for a list, okay, you can go to the next line and then you can put the stuff in and then you can do this. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to do this. This is just a tip if you want your code to look like if you have maybe like super long uh names, right? It's not gonna be like all the way until the end of the screen. Okay, and then yes, you can also mix different data types inside a list, right? Over here, the example shown, these are all integers and then these are all strings. But if you want, you can also mix the different data types. Okay, so let's say list number 2. Okay, create the list, square bracket. Okay, always square bracket first, and then you can put 2, you can put 2, you can put 2.000. Okay, you can put false, you can put none. Okay, just clean this and see. Yep. Okay, so it is legal to use different data types inside a list. All right. The first one, this is an integer. This is a string. This is a float. This is a boolean, and this is none type. Okay. The variable name is this. This is the variable value. The whole list is the value itself, and the type is list. Okay, identified by the square brackets. Right. We can also do a list of lists. Right? Since inside a list there are different items. Okay, so inside a list, uh, let's say let's just modify this list. Okay, let's create more lists first. List 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. List 2 equals 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then total list, we can put this 1 and this 2. So when you print this out, it will show 2 layers of square brackets. Okay, you see a double square brackets over here. So the outermost square bracket means that the whole thing is a list. And then the first one, the first item in this list is a list itself. Right? And inside this list, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And then after that, you have a comma to separate the first item from second item. And then the second item is also a list by itself. All right? You can do list of lists, you can do list of lists, and you can have however many layers of lists that you want. Okay? It's all legal in Python. Yeah, so when you print it out, you will see these 2 layers of square brackets. Okay, everyone understands? All right. Now, how do we access elements in a list? We have this list of numbers in here, right? How do we access it? So we use it by doing square bracket and then the index of it. Okay, let's use that one there. My list equals A, B, C, D, E, F. What's after F? G, H, I. Okay, let's print my list first. Okay, you see a list is created successfully. Then if you want the first item in the list, you put my list, square bracket, 0. Okay, Python count starts from 0. Right, it doesn't start from 1. Although this is the first element in the list, in English you say it's the first element in the list, right? But to Python, it's the 0th element in the list. Right? So this will be the 0th one. This will be the first one. This will be the index number 2. Okay? So index number 0, 1, and then 2. All right? Print my list 1 and print my list 2. Okay? Let's print this first one too. Okay? You see we get, oh yeah, A, B, S, D, F, and then G, H, I. All right. The 0th element, then the index number 1 element, and the index number 2 element. Okay. And if you want to access the last element in the list, let's say you don't know how many, let's say you have a super long list and you don't know how many elements are inside that list, and you want to just find the last one, right? The one right at the back. What you can do is you print the list name, square bracket, and then -1. Okay. So -1 means the last element. So you see it prints out GHI over here. Okay. GHI, and let's say you want the second last element. So you put the list name, square bracket, then -2. All right. So it will print out the F. Going forward in Python, right? Reading from the front to the back, the index starts from 0. Okay. But going backwards, reading the list from the back to the front, the index starts from 1. Okay, starts from -1, then -2, then -3, and so forth. All right. So don't forget that the first element in the list is actually the index number 0. Okay, because I made this mistake a lot when I was in the first semester also. All right, so just try to remember this. Let's do some exercises. Okay, declare a variable x and assign the value of 10 and print the value of x. Create a list of cars with only 4 models. Print the first and the last car in the list. All right, this is super simple. Can anyone just share the answer for the first question in the chat? Okay, just create a variable x. Okay, x equals 10, and then print x. Yep, that's great. That's great. Very good. Everyone's got it. Okay, next question. Create a list of cars with any 4 models. Print the first and the last car in the list. Okay, anyone else? Okay, let's try each of these examples that you all gave, okay? Let me copy the first one. Right, let me just paste it here. Okay, even before you run it, you can see that there's some syntax errors over here, right? You see squiggly lines. Okay, it says car 3 is not defined, car 2 is not defined, car 1 is not defined. It's because you didn't put the string. Okay, it's because you forgot to put the quotes for it. It's okay. It's okay forgetting to put it last time. All right, so if you put these quotes here, then you'll be able to run. Okay, car 1 and car 4. Okay, these 2 lines, print cars list 0 and print cars list -1. Yep, these are perfect. Okay, that's great. That's good. That's good. And okay, one thing you need to take note of in Python is the spaces. Okay, the spaces are very important. If you put print parse list space square bracket 0, this will this will run. Okay, I thought it wouldn't run. Okay, but generally, please try not to leave any spaces between here, okay? Because in Python, we shouldn't put spaces all around. And next time when you have those indentation, they'll be even more confusing. Okay, let's see the other examples. Hyundai, Proton, Bermuda, Mercedes. Yep, that's good. Okay. In the exam or in your assignments, if they ask you to, let's say, address the last element in the list, you shouldn't straight away put the index of the last element. Okay, it's better to use -1. Okay, better to use -1. And then, yep, yep, all the rest look good. Okay, that's great. All of you got it. That's wonderful. Let's move on to functions. So as you can see in this picture, functions are like workers, right? Each of them is doing a separate task. You see this person, okay, I don't know what he's doing. Okay, I don't know what any of them are doing. Let's forget it. So a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Okay? It only runs when it is called. So functions are often programmed to perform one specific task. Okay? So like this worker maybe is just sitting here being lazy. And then his boss will come up behind him and call him. He'll be like, Tyler, work, 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 work. Yeah, something like that. Okay. And then Tyler will jump up and then start stacking boxes up together. Okay. And then when he finishes stacking the box, then he goes back and sits down. Right? He sits down, waiting for time to pass. And then his boss comes up behind him again. Tyler, work, 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 work. Right? And then over here, then Tyler will get up and then he will stack the boxes again. All right. So these are basically what functions do. So uh, the functions are just there, and then the code inside will only be executed when you call the function. So let's look at some of the functions, some of the built-in functions in Python. The most basic one is print, right? Which I'm sure all of you have used before, even in week 1, right? Print. So you see over here, right? I always put print and then a bracket. Okay, I put print and then a bracket over here. Okay, so this bracket means that you are calling the function. If you just put like this, print is function name. Okay, this is just a function name. But if you put print bracket, then this is the function call. All right, everyone understands? So you may have been using this print function and you just think, oh, okay, it's so the way Python works is after print you must have a bracket. Okay, but now you understand that you have a bracket because you are calling the function which has a name of print, right? So inside the bracket are arguments. Okay, this is the function name, and then the stuff inside the bracket are arguments. Arguments, right? So for this function, it will print out its arguments into the terminal, right? So you can print hello, you can print 2, you can print, oh yeah, okay, I meant this to be my list. Okay, it's a typo. I was going to refer to this variable here. Here you can print out a variable which has a value of a list, right? And you can also print nothing. Okay, so let's see what happens when you print nothing, all right? Print first line, and then you print nothing, then you print next line. So what happens is you will print the first line, and then this is the empty line. Okay, if you don't tell it what to print, but you just tell print, okay, then it will print an empty line, right? Like if Tyler is sitting there, and then you don't tell Tyler that he has to stack the boxes, but you just tell him to stack, right? Then what will he stack? I don't know what he's going to stack. He might like stack himself on top of another box or something, right? So you must specify what you want to print. If not, then it will just print a empty line, right? Let's see the next function. This is input. So a lot of times you need to depend on the user to give you input into your code, right? So you want to use something that the user types for your code. So how you do this is using a function called input. Same thing as before. This is a function name, and then to call the function, you put bracket. Okay, normal bracket, circle bracket, not the square bracket or anything, normal bracket. And then inside here, you can put the prompt. Okay, right. If you use VS Code or I don't know, if you use some other IDs, it might not show. But over here, you can see that you can put a prompt inside. Okay, so this is argument. You can put a prompt. So what the prompt is, the prompt string, if given, is printed to standard output without a trading new line before reading input. Okay, so it's printed before reading input. So let's say you want to ask, what is your name? And then you run it. What is your name? It will, you see, it doesn't finish running yet. This program hasn't finished running. It is waiting for your input. It's waiting for you to type something to the terminal. Okay, so you can type over here, my name is Brian. Okay, after you finish typing Brian, after you finish putting your input, you press enter, and then the program finishes running. Then a space over here to make it look nicer, and you can print like that. Brian, enter. All right, so now you have finished this input function. And you may be wondering, what can we do with this input? Hmm? After the user has typed something, how can you use it? So this input, you can assign the return value of the input into a variable. So let's say name equals this input. Okay, variable name is name, and then the variable value will be whatever the user inputs into the terminal because of this input function. So over here, after that, you can print uh, welcome. Hmm. So first you will ask for your name because this line hasn't finished running yet. So the next line is not printed. Okay, now it's still the first line running. So what is your name? My name is Brian. Press enter. Then it will print welcome, Brian. Let's try again. What is your name? Tyler. Welcome, Tyler. All right. Anyone has any questions about these two lines of code? What if I want extra stuff behind the input? Hmm, okay, you cannot put extra stuff behind the input. If you want more stuff, then you have to add another print. You have to add another print statement over there. Okay, got it? Hmm. So if you see the pins over here, it's printed before reading input. There's no option for a prompt after the input. Okay, you can't do that in Python. Yeah, it can only be before. Mm, yeah, I understand what you mean. You can't do that. Okay, you can't do that in Python code. Of course, if next time you're designing a website or something, then you can put another elements on the right side there, or you can put the attributes for the HTML element. But in Python, because it's just like terminal based, so you can't do all that stuff. All right, let's move on to the next function. Right. Yes. Remember I was talking about all the different data types, like integer, string, and all that. So how do you check the type of a particular value? So you print, okay, let's just print first, and then, so you print the type of 5, okay? If you run, you'll get a integer. So again, type is a function name. To call the function, you use the brackets. And then what is inside the brackets is the thing that you want to check the type of. So let's say you want to check the type of Tyler. You want to check whether it's a human being or an alien, right? Then you print out the type, and then it turns out that he's not a human being, not an alien, but he's just a piece of string. Okay, so Tyler is a string. And then I remember I was talking about true and false just now, so you can print the type of true, and then you will show that you will see that it's a Boolean. Okay, let me show the none. You can see that it's a none type. Okay, remember where did it go? Yeah, all these types here. Okay, int, string, bool, none type. Okay, so all these will appear. All these will appear if you call the type function. Let's see what's next. Okay, so just now we were talking about integers and strings. Now, what if you want to convert an integer into a string, So you can use the int function, and the other way around, if you want to convert a string, you want to convert something else into a string. Yeah, you use the str function. If you want to convert something into an integer, then you use the int function, right? Let me show this. So print type, the type of, and then now I set 50 to become a string. Okay, you might be a bit confused by all the layers of brackets, but basically, let's look from the most inner bracket out. Okay, so the innermost one is 50, right? And 50, we are passing this into string. So now we are converting the integer 50 into a string, right? And then this string of 50, we are checking the type of it. So until the pink brackets, this means the type of the string version of 50. And then lastly, we print the whole thing. So we print the type of string version of 50. Okay? Everyone sort of understand, yeah? Let's say I want to convert something into an integer, right? So you print the type of integer, and then here, let's say it's 100. Let's print. So now it's an integer. Okay? It was originally a string, had the quotes. And then after integer becomes an integer. Okay? Another integer. When this one, the 50 at first was an integer, now it becomes a string. Alright? Everyone understand? So this is how you convert stuff to integers and to strings. You can use float also to convert something to a float. But let's say you want to try and change uh you want to change a word into an integer. Okay, let's see whether this works or not. Alright, it doesn't work. Why? Because Tyler is unfortunately not it unfortunately can't become an integer. Okay, so Tyler is, I don't know, he said it himself, he's exactly a slave and a string, but somehow he can't be converted into a integer. Right, you get an error. So it must be at least a valid number that is of a type string, then only it can be converted into an integer. Upper and lower. So let's say Tyler name equals Tyler Tan. Okay, let's put with capital letters. Okay, and then now you want to print everything, you want to change into uppercase, capital letters. So you put Tyler name dot per. Is this enough? No. Why? Because upper is only the function name. You need the brackets to call the function. Okay, so, oh yeah, okay. Let's comment this. And now everything is turned into capital letters. Now if you want to print his name in lowercase, means all small letters, you do lower, remember the bracket to call the function, then you will print everything in lowercase. Okay? Any questions about the function so far? There was print, input, type, int, string, float, upper and lower. Okay, no questions. That's great. Let's move on. Now is len. Okay, len is short form for length. So the stuff that you can check the length of are obviously this. Okay, you can check the length of this. You can check the length of strings. Let's see. So my list equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Print length of my list. It will print 7. Okay, because there are 7 elements inside. Tyler name equals Tyler Tan. Print then Tyler name. 9. Okay, why is it 9? Tyler, and then there's a space also. Okay, remember that spaces are counted as characters inside as part of a string also. So the space is here and then TAN. That's why they are 9. So this is how you use the function len. Yeah, what happens if you try and print the length of a number? Obviously a number doesn't have a length, and Python knows that. So it won't allow you to print the length of a number. It'll give an error. Okay? This error message is quite descriptive also. It says object of type integer has no length. Alright? Same thing if you print length of a boolean, let's say false. Okay, let's get rid of this error first. Yep. Obviously it still won't work because a boolean has no length. Next, sum, min, and max. Okay, so these are all functions that uh work with this. So let's use back this list on top here, and let's print the sum of my list. Let's print the sum of my list. So the sum is 28. Yeah. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. All right. Now let's print the maximum number, remember the bracket, of my list. Let's also print the minimum number in my list. So you can see that over here, the max is 7 and the minimum is 1. All right. Okay, let's quickly move on. And then append. Append just means you add something to the end of the list. So you use the existing list and then dot append, and then you put in the thing that you want to append. You put in the thing that you want to add to the end of the list. Okay. So I know there are many functions, and to those of you that are new to Python, you may have trouble remembering all these functions, right? Like in a competition, how are you going to remember the exact way to use insert or remove, right? So good news for the competition next week, you all can refer to these slides. Okay, these slides will all be sent to you, and then you all can refer to these slides and these slides only during the competition. All right, no Stack Overflow, no coding website, no ChatGPT, no DeepSeek, no Mistral, no Llama, no anything. Okay, only these slides. So yeah, you all just understand how to use these functions, then you can look back at it during the competition next week. Okay, insert is to insert something at a position. So this is the element to insert. This is the index to insert. So remember that index starts from 0. Okay, it doesn't start from 1. So remember that when you want to insert stuff into a list. Okay, sort is to sort a list. It's very useful. You don't have to write all the sorting algorithms yourself, although you still have to. Later on is in the semester. So sort will automatically sort ascending order. If you want it to sort descending, you put reverse equals true. Okay, so this is one of the arguments. Remember, inside the bracket, you have arguments, right? Function, call the function, then you put the argument inside. So if there's no argument for sort, it will sort in ascending order. If you put reverse equals true, that will be descending. Reverse. If you put the list dot reverse bracket, it will reverse the whole list. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, after you reverse, it'll become 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Interesting. My Python version inverses element and two. What do you mean? What do you mean inverses element and two? Okay, let's move on. Okay. For this, we get split. So split is basically take a string and then you split it into a list. All right, so it's let's say you have a string and then you want to work with the words in the string word by word, right? If you need a specific case, then you do something like that, then you can use this function. So the string dot split bracket, it will split it everything automatically using the white space. Okay, using just the blank space. Insert 3, 5, puts 5 in the fourth slot. Yeah, that's right. Because it puts it before the fifth element. Okay, so it puts it before. So let's say you have 1, 2, 3 items, and you put insert at the first index. So you will insert it. So the thing that is put in, after it's put in, it will be at the index number 1, right? Means it pushed the original one to the back. So that's why it will be like before the previous index number 1. Okay, understand? Yeah, you all can test out these functions on your own, maybe after the workshop or anything. Right? So split, it automatically splits using white space. If you want a specific delimiter, means what to split by, then you just put it as argument inside the function call. Then you split by a comma, split by a comma, comma, okay? So this is one chunk because there's no comma in the middle. Next, join. Join is sort of like the opposite of split. So you will join, it can be a list, it can be something else. So you join each element in the list to become a string itself. Or and pair character. Okay, so these are for ASCII values. Okay, these are ASCII values. So ASCII values are basically the numbers that how a computer recognizes your alphabets. Okay, so every character, even those special symbols like hashtag and the at and the exclamation mark, each of them has ASCII value. Right? So if you want to convert a string into an ASCII value, you use this OR function, will come out as an integer. The opposite of OR is CHR, short form for character. So you give it an integer, and then you call the function, you will give the string. You will give the string that for this particular ASCII value. So to create your own function, okay, these are all Python's built-in functions, so you can just use them whenever you want. But what if you want to create your own function? So this is how you do it. You use def, short form for define, right? So you define function name, bracket, any arguments that you want. If no arguments, then it'll just be an empty bracket, and then colon. Okay, colon, next line. Then you put all your code in here, you can print stuff, and then at the end, you can choose to return some stuff also. Return stuff from the function. Right. So an example, write a function that prints the string, I will win CodeStart. Okay, let's do this here. So def to create a new function. confidence 100. Okay, print, I will win CodeStart. Okay, so this is the full function. You're done already, right? You're done with the function. Let's run this program and see what happens. Oh, nothing happens. Okay, why? Why nothing happened? Because this function is just sitting here. Okay, you haven't called it yet. You haven't asked it to do, you haven't told it to do the work that it's supposed to do. So to call it, you put confidence 100 and then bracket. Now it will print it. All right, so if you call it another time, you have bracket, then you'll print it twice because you called it twice. Okay, everyone understands? Okay, everyone understands already? Let's look at the next example. Let's say we want to print we want to print a name together. So we can put an argument inside. Argument name can be anything. Okay, it can be, you can call it name, you can call it anything else you want. Let's say print name. Yeah, right. I forgot to put this. So Tyler. Okay. So over here, I print Tyler, and then here I print, I will win CodeStart. Okay. So the way it works is it becomes a variable for this function. So anywhere inside this function can print this variable. But then if you're outside of this function and you print name, it will give you an error. Okay? Because you didn't define what is name. Because this name here, it only exists inside the function itself. Okay? It's only inside the function. Write the function that takes a number as input and returns its double. Let's try and do this. Define double. So you want to take a number as input, right? You need a number. So the variable name, the argument name is called number. And then you can return number times 2. Okay, just as simple as this. So this function performs a specific task, which is to multiply a given number by 2. Then you call this function. Okay, print double the number, let's say 10. It will be 20. Okay. All right, what happens if you don't put print? What happens if you just call this function? Nothing will happen. Okay, you see nothing is printed out over here because he didn't ask it to print. It only returns the value. Okay, so the difference between return and print is return, it just returns it from the function. It returns it from the function, so you can assign it to a variable. So double number equals double 10. And then you can print double number, and then it will, okay, it will print like this. Then it will print out 20. So remember that return, so whatever you return essentially becomes the value when you call a function. Okay, it becomes a value when you call the function. So you can assign this value to another variable, and you can use that variable however you want later on in the code. All right, let's try some exercises. Create a function square. Yeah, just read it yourself. Why am I reading it out? Okay, send your answers into the chat. Anything? Anything? Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, great. Almost everyone's got it. Okay, good, good. Just remember that after you define a function, you need a colon. Okay? Without the colon, your code won't run. You'll get an error. Okay? And then after that, you need a tab. Okay? Default tab for Python is 4 spaces. Okay, but if you just press enter after the colon, it should automatically give you a tab lah. Okay, so remember colon, remember the tab. Okay, yep, almost everyone's got it. Good. Next question. Calculate the area of a rectangle using the height and width. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. Okay, Charles got it. Define calculate area. The two arguments, yeah, it can be X or Y. Or if the assignment or competition asks explicitly for height and width, then please name the arguments as height and width also. Okay, and then return height times width. And then that's how you call the function. Mm, okay, that's good. Mm. In Python, if we have function names or variable names with more than one word, we generally use the underscore. Okay? We generally use this underscore here. We don't use camel case. All right? Camel case means like uh calculate area. Okay, this is called camel case. Okay, so generally in Python we don't do this. You use this in Java and some other languages, I guess. But in Python, you normally will do this. Okay, next. Okay, let's see. Yep, it's 8:45. Let's go straight into conditional statements. Conditional statements allow you to execute specific blocks of code based on whether a condition is true or false. So, what are some examples of statements with which are true or false? So 1 less than equal to 10, it is true, of course, right? And then 100 is more than 99.9, it is true. So let me show you what do I mean by this statement is true. Okay, print 1 less than 4. It will print the boolean called true. Okay, statement 1, 100 more than 150. Print statement 1, it will print false. Okay, so this whole thing, when you assign it to a variable, the variable will have the meaning of either true or false because it's a statement. Okay, and this statement can only either be true or false. So false will be the other way around. This is true and this is false. Okay, and then true, banana in the list called fruits. Fruits is a variable name, the list name. And then you can see over here that this string banana is actually inside this list. So in Python, you can use this in word. Okay, and then the opposite of in is not in. Let me show this. Print banana in a list of banana and apple. Okay, it gives you true. because this string is inside here. Let's say I give you a fruit that's not inside. It will give false. Okay? Anyone has any questions about this in and not in? Okay. Yeah, so this is false, this is the opposite. And then true, you can compare two variables together. And you can also, yeah, I forgot to mention this, the double equals. Okay, the two equal sign. This means it's equal to. If you only put one equals, it means you're assigning a variable. You're assigning a variable value to a variable name. If you want to check whether object A is equal to object B, then you need to use double equals. So print 5 is equal to 5. Of course, it's true, right? Okay, true. But let's say print 5 equals to 5.0. Now, this is also true. Let's say you change it slightly. Now it is false. Okay, understand? So over here, I use a type. Okay, let's try. Type 5 is equal to string. It will be false because the type of 5 is an integer, right? Integer, and it'll become true. Okay, if 1 less than 5, print 1 is less than 5. So this is the most basic type of conditional statement, okay? You put if, and then the statement, the condition that you want to check whether it's true or false. So if the statement, colon, and the next line, then whatever code you want to execute. Okay, so this statement, 1 less than 5 evaluates two patterns, true, the Boolean true. So this line is executed. Next, we have else, okay? If else, right? If 10 is less than 5, then print this, or else print this. So this statement is false, right? So this line is not executed. So this line is executed, right? So anything that doesn't satisfy this condition, it will cause this code to run. Anything that satisfies this condition, any statement which is true, means that this code here will run. All right. So this is for if else, and now we have if elif else. Elif is just short for else if. Let's look at this table here. The first one, 2, when x equals 2. If x if 2 is less than or equals to 5, which is true, right? So print first condition. The first condition will be printed out. If x is equal to 5, x is still less than or equal to 5, right? Because 5 is less than or equal to 5. So the first condition is still printed out. However, if x becomes 8, this statement, x less than or equal to 5 becomes false, right? 8 is more than 5, right? So it goes to the next thing, goes to the next check, the else if. Now it checks, it's 8 less than or equal to 10. Now this condition is true, so the second condition we print it out. Lastly, if x equals to 20, this is false, this is also false, and there's no more elif, so it goes to the else. So the third condition we printed out. All right. If x is a string, then an error will come out because a string cannot be compared with integers like this. Okay. Anyone has any questions for this slide? This if, elif, else. Any confusion? Okay, let's do some exercises. All right, send in your answers. Right. Create a function that checks if number is positive, negative, or zero, and then print an appropriate message. Let's do it together. Okay, so define check number sign. We need to take in a number. Okay, it's not what number do you check, right? So you need an argument, there's a number. So first, if number more than zero, print number is positive. If number less than zero, print number is negative. Okay, let's just leave it at this first. And then check number sign, negative 20. Yeah, right. This needs to be converted to a string. Okay, negative 20 is negative. Positive 20 is positive. What if we do zero? Okay, nothing will print it out, right? Because you didn't account for zero. So else print your number is zero. Yes. Okay. You can also first check if it's equal to zero, then you can check more than and then use the else. And anyway, either one will do as long as you have these three, as long as you can check for three different conditions. Great. Yep. Next one. So this is again just using if, elif, elif, elif. Okay, so you can stack multiple elifs to check for different conditions. And then finally, for all other cases other than the if and elifs, you use else. So else will always be right at the end. Okay, so if the age that they put is less than zero or more than 125, means that person is not a human. Okay, create a function, checks whether the year is leap year or not. So here we use the modulus. Modulus means when you divide by something, then you take the remainder of that division. Okay, so if the year can be divided by 4 with no remainder, means it's a leap year. Okay, so double equals 0 and return true. If not, then just return false. Okay, let's move on. The loop. There are two types of loop. Okay, for loops and while loops. For and while. Okay, let's look at both of them one by one. The first one is for. So it iterates over a sequence and then executes a block of code for each item inside a sequence. So let's say we have a conveyor belt full of boxes. Okay, we have a whole line of boxes. And then you want to put a bomb inside each of those boxes so that the person who opens it will get bombed or something. I don't know. So you can use a for loop for this. So you iterate box by box, put a bomb in the first box, then you go to the second box, you put a bomb inside, then you go to the third box, you put a bomb inside. Okay, so this is what it means by iterating over a sequence. Means you see a first element, then a second element, and a third element until the last one. Okay, until you tell it to stop. Simple example, take a list, 1, 3, 5, 7, 4 item in list 1, print item times 2. Okay, so for something inside this one. This something here you can give it any name you want. Okay, it's a variable for this for loop. It's a variable that can be used inside this for loop. So it will print out 2, 6, 10, 14. All right. So it iterates throughout the list. First element is 1. So times 2 will become 2. Moves on to the second element and the next until this finishes. Okay. This is to check whether the number in the list is even or odd. So for item in this one, if the remainder of the item divided by 2 is 0, means that it's an even number. It's not, means it's an odd number. Okay. That's the first one. 1 odd number, 2 even, odd, and even. Okay. Next example, we use range. So what range does is it generates a sequence of numbers. For example, range 3 will be 0, 1, 2. Okay. So this range, it stops before the number that I put in here. If I say for I in range 10, print I. It will print 0 to 9. Okay. Remember that Python index always starts from 0, right? So start from 0, go until 9. And then if you want it to reach until 10, means you have to put 11. If you go until 11, then you reach until 10. Okay, you reach the number before the given number. This is a more advanced way of using range. So you can specify the start, stop, and the step. Previously, this is only a stop, right? Start will automatically start from 0, and the step automatically will be +1, +1, +1. But you can also specify the start, stop, and step. So let's say you want to start from 5, stop at 10, and the step is 2. So print 5, 7, 9. Okay, this is start, this is step. This is start, it's stop, it's step. Okay, start, stop, step. 10, 15, 20. Does it print 25? No, it doesn't print because it always stops before the stop value, right? For index in range, length of fruits, prints index, fruits index. Okay, so this is a combination of the list functions that you've seen before and a for loop. So we can straight away calculate the length of this list by using len fruits. And then you put this number into the range function. Okay, so we print out 0, banana, 1 apple, 2 mango. Next, while loop. A while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a specified condition is true. So previously the for loop, it loops through a sequence of stuff, right? It can be a list, it can be a string. But now a while loop, it will continue running until the condition you give it is false. So for example, count equals 0. While count is less than 5, print count, count plus equals 1. Let me show this to you in Python, okay? Count equals 0, while count less than 5, print count, okay? And then count plus equals 1. So it will print 0, and then 1, and then 2, and 3, and then 4. Okay, that's all. Then it will stop. So let's see how this works. At first, count is 0. And then we know that 0 is less than 5, right? So this statement, count less than 5, is true. Okay. So since this statement, count less than 5, is true, so it will print, the loop will run, right? And then it will print, still around 1. It's still around 1, so it print 0, and then you increment count by 1. So count plus equals 1 is the same as saying count equals count plus 1. It's just a short form of saying that. Okay, so this is round one. After round one finishes, it moves on to round two. So round two, count is now one, right? Because over here you're plus one already. So count is one, it's still less than five, so it prints one, then comes two. So now count is two, it will print two, and then plus one, so now count is three. Next round, three is still less than five, right? So it prints three, and then when you increment three by one, it becomes four. Next round, four is still less than five, so it prints four, and then now you increment it by one. So now the value of count is five. Okay? Now when the value of count is five, count is no longer less than five, right? This statement is no longer true. The statement count less than five is now false. Okay? Everyone following? The statement count less than five is now false. So that's why this loop will not run, because this statement is no longer true. Okay, so you see it keeps running, the loop keeps running, it keeps printing stuff, it keeps incrementing counts until the statement here is not true. It becomes false, then it'll stop. It'll stop. Then it won't run anymore. Okay. Yeah, some explanations does not begin because the condition doesn't pass. So the lines inside the while loop will not execute. Okay, so that's why it doesn't print 5. That's why over here it stopped at 4. Right? It stopped at 4. Okay, round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, and then stop. Okay, it doesn't print number 5 anymore. For a while loop, if you want to break out of it in the middle, let's say you don't want to wait until the condition is false. You want to break somewhere. Okay, then you use this break statement. So let's say while true, is count more than 10, break. Okay, let's print. Okay, so it prints 1 to 10. And then after that, once count is more than 10, means that count is now 11, right? After you increment, then when it goes back to a new loop, it goes back to a new round of this while loop, the value of count is 11. So count is more than 10 already, then break. So it will break. It will not print anything else. Okay? Anyone has questions for while loop? Let's do some exercises. Yeah, this can be either for loops or while loops. Okay, just do the first one. I'll go through the second and third one with you. Just try and do the first one as well. Okay, anything? Try and do this. With a function that takes a list of strings and returns the length of its longest string. Okay, so first we define a function, find longest, and then you take a list, right? So let's call it my list. longest length is 0. Okay, let's start from 0. The minimum is still 0. Then let's loop through this list because you want to check one by one the items in the list, right? Then you want to see which one has the longest, which string is the longest. So for, it can be item, you can put element, you can put X, okay, anything, okay? For item in my list, if the length of this item is longer than the current longest length, then the longest length will be updated to the length of this current item. Okay, let me repeat that. You loop through each item in the list. So you say for each item inside my list, if the length of the current item is longer than the current longest length, then update the longest length to become the length of the current item. Okay, and then at the end, return the longest length. Wait, is it fine? Yeah, length of a longer string. It didn't ask for a longer string. Okay, if you ask for a longer string, then you need to, then this one here you need to change. Okay, but now it's asking for a length. Yeah. Yeah, so this code is getting a bit more complicated, yeah. It's combining for loops and if and functions. Okay? But I hope, okay. I was gonna say I hope you all can catch up, but apparently it's very hard to catch up. So let me repeat again, huh? Let me repeat again. You start off with the current longest length of 0, right? Because you're going to start small, ma. So before we look at anything inside the list, the longest length will be 0. Make sense? Okay. Before looking at any item in the list, the max length is 0. And then over here, we loop through each item in the list. Right? Loop through each item in the list. And then for each item, you check if the length of current item is more than the max length stored, which means this longest length is more than, yeah, let's just say length. And here, update the longest length to the length of current item. Yeah, you guys will get the slides. Maybe not immediately after, but before your competition. All right. And then in the end here, you just return the thing. So remember that the for loop, it looks at each item inside the list. So let's try calling it. List 1 equals ABC, ABBB. Okay, let's make this easier to see. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then A. Print find longest list 1. Okay, so we're using the function that we just created, and then we put the bracket to call it, and then the argument for this is list 1. So it says 5, right? Because the longest string is the 5 A's here. Okay, let's see. String length for string in list length string. Yes, you can do this also. You can also get the length of each string inside the list and then put all that into another list and then you find the maximum. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, good. That's good. So let me explain this code a bit more. Let me print it out. Okay, let me print out print current item is item with length and item. Okay, so this will help us to see what happens in each loop of the while. Now, each loop of the for loop. So first, current item, ABC with length 3, and then ABB with length 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 with length 4, now the 5As with length 5. Okay, so this is how you see what happens in each loop. Uh, next time in your assignments, if you have lots of bugs and you have lots of errors, you know what I do? I just put lots of prints. Yeah, if you ask any of my friends that have seen my code before, it's like half of it is just print statements, just to debug and see where is it going wrong, right? So in the loop, if you want to check whether anything has gone wrong or something, then you just put a prints, then you can see what's going on for each iteration of the loop. Okay, then you see that the maximum over here is 5. So it returns 5. Okay, yeah. This is the same thing that I did just now, right? Is it the same? Yeah, it's exactly the same. Okay, now some number of vowels. I won't go through this in as much detail as the previous question, but basically you give it a list of vowels and then you check character by character inside the word. So use a for loop to check character by character. Okay, to check each character. And then for each character, if the character is part of this list. So if the character is in this list, means that it's a vowel, right? Means it's a vowel. So the vowel count, you add 1. And then in the end, you return the final number of vowels. Okay? Then if you ask how many vowels are there in acquiescence, then you will get 6. All right? Next, this is a while loop. This is a simple while loop. You will probably use something like this a lot in your future code also. Asking for input, right? If you're in a loop, to keep asking for input and do something with the input, unless the user types exit or quit or I don't know, or just a blank space or enter or something like that. So you assign a variable to this input. If the input is exit, then you break off the while loop. Let me just show this real quick. While true, user input equals input, write something is user input dot lower is equal to quit, quit, quit. So write something. Hi, 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 hello, Tyler, handsome. Question mark. Okay. And then if I write quit, then it will stop. It'll break out of the while loop. Yeah. Backslash n means new line. Okay. There are a few special characters in Python, like backslash n. I think there's backslash s also. Yeah. But mostly you just be using this. So let's say you want to write something else. Write something uh, below this line. And then another new line. Write something, then next line below this line, okay? Okay, you can keep putting stuff inside until you press quit. Until you type quit, then you'll quit. Okay, now, you all might get asked this kind of questions in assignments, okay, not just in Python, like other languages also. Ask you to print something using certain input or certain dimension. So let's say I want you to print a triangle. If the input is 2, then one layer of just 1, then second layer of 2. If the input is 5, then each layer, first one be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So how do you do this? How do you use a loop to do this? Anyone has any ideas? You don't need to give the code. Just say like what kind of concept you think can solve this question. For loop and prints. Okay, yes, that's right. Very good. So for I inside this range. Okay, since it's a number, so you can use a range for a number. Then you print the asterisk sign times how many. Okay, so since the four starts from okay, technically it starts from 0, right? Let me show you this. Find what print triangle dimension for I range dimension. Print I. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this. So you see, at first it prints an empty line. Okay, it prints an empty line because this loop starts from 0. So it prints 0 first. So technically, this answer is wrong. Okay, you will get deducted some marks if this question comes out in the competition. So what you need to do is you start from 1. You start from 1 all the way up to dimension plus 1. Yeah, what am I doing? There's so many mistakes here. Okay, let's print this again. Yeah, now this is correct. Okay, start from 1 and then it goes until, make sure it's a dimension. So because range stops before top number, so you need to add 1 over here. Right? So you print 1 asterisk, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. I will amend these slides before sending it to you guys. That's all. Now we are entering our last topic for today, which is dictionaries. So let's compare lists and dictionaries. This cupboard is like a list. Okay. Let's say you have a cupboard with many levels, many drawers from the first floor until like a 20th floor. Okay. And then you climb a ladder and then you say, I want to open this drawer, this one. Then you just point at a particular drawer. You say, I want to, I want to, I want to find what is inside this drawer. Okay, but then there are no labels for drawers, right? There's no sticker, there's no sticky note over here saying this is drawer, this is the drawer containing Tyler's files or the drawer containing Pua's files, right? So there's no label here, so you can't identify it by a name or label. The only thing you can identify it is by the index or the number. So looking at these 4 drawers here, you say, I want to open the second drawer from the top. Okay, or I want to open the first drawer from the bottom. Okay, or the topmost drawer or the third drawer from the top, something like that. That's how you identify it, right? So from the top is the first drawer, second drawer, third drawer, fourth drawer. This is how you access the content of the drawers in Python, right? So list name, square bracket, index number. Remember to start from 0 lah, okay? This is like in English, the first from the top, the second from the top. Okay, but in Python, you need to start from 0. And then if you want to start from bottom, first from bottom, second from bottom, right? First, second, third, fourth. So -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay, this is what I explained earlier. So this is how you access the stuff in the list. You can only access it by the index. Okay, only the index. Yeah, this can only be elements in the list can only be identified by their index. Now let's look at a dictionary. Okay, a literal dictionary. So there are many entries in dictionary, right? From A, there's like, I don't know, what was the first? Aardvark or something, and then Z, I don't know, zookeeper, stuff like that, right? So how do you identify, let's say success? You see success over here? How do you identify this entry? Can you identify it by the index, by the number? Yeah, you can't, right? You can't identify it by number because how you know how many words are there in dictionary? Right? You know that success is word number 12,543 or something like that. Right? You don't know that. So you can only access this entry using, you can't access it by index. You can only access it using the words here. The success, successful, succession. Okay? the correct word for this is head word. Okay, in the case of dictionaries, I just learned this like when I was writing the slides. It's called a head word. You identify entries in a dictionary by its head word. Okay, so how about Python dictionaries? In Python dictionaries, entries are composed of keys and values. All right, every entry in a dictionary has one key and one value. So over here, the key is success, and the value is the definition of this word. Okay, later I'll explain how return works in a function. Okay, give me a second. After I explain dictionaries, then I will go to what's it called? Return. Yeah. Coming back to this. So key is success, the value is a favorable or okay, the definition there. This is how we define a dictionary. Dictionary name equals dictionaries are using curly brackets. Curly brackets, then key colon value. Okay, so every key corresponds to a value. And yeah, every key has its own value. So over here, next one, successful. So this is the key, and this is the value of this entry. So first entry, then comma, then second entry. The whole thing enclosed in curly bracket. And then this is how you access the definition over here. So let's say you want to find a definition of the word success in a dictionary. So you put dictionary A, square bracket, success. Yeah, it'll give you this one. You can either print this one, it'll give you this one, or if you want to set it, you can just straight away put it over here. Remember list this inside the square bracket, you put a number, right? What is identified by the index? But in dictionaries, it is identified by the key. So that's why inside the square bracket, you put the key, and then you get the value over here. Can understand? Great. So let's create our own dictionary. Colors of fruit. So apple is red, banana is yellow, grape is purple. Okay. If you print, put color dict, square bracket, apple means this entry. So it'll give you this entry punya value. Okay, so it'll give you red. If you print this entry punya value, it will give you purple. Okay. Let's see another dictionary. Find number of students who scored D distinction in FIT 1045. So you take the dictionary name, square bracket, and the key, and it will give you the value. Okay. Yeah, don't I'm just kidding, okay? There'll be much more people getting HD, alright? There won't be 200 people failing and like 30 people getting HD. Okay. Hopefully. Then let's say change the number of students who scored HD to 50. So same thing, almost same thing as this, right? Take a dictionary name, square bracket, key name. So here, dictionary name, square bracket, key name, and equals to the new value that you want. Okay, so you're setting the value for this entry into 50. If you print it out, it will be the updated value. Okay, let me just, okay, I guess going to show this. Yeah, you understand? No lah, I already got score 100 in 1045. That's not me, that's not me. That's not me, man. All right, to get the full list of keys in dictionary, yeah, this is something that Python dictionaries can do that like physical dictionaries cannot. Okay, you can get a list of all the keys and the list of all the values in dictionary by using the keys function and the values function. All right, the keys function and the values function. Let me show you. Let's just use this example. Uh, Remember to put the bracket because you're calling a function. Okay, so it'll give you this. It'll show you all the keys here. If you want the values, then just type values and then bracket. It'll show you all the values in the dictionary in order. Okay, and then if you want everything in a dictionary, you can use items. Okay, you can use items. Okay, so it'll show you 50, 100, D50, F30. Let's go through a couple of these exercises. So a dictionary that contains names as keys and ages as values. Okay, so names, ages. Who else? I don't know. Uh, and then what do you want? Write a function to find and return the age of a specific person entered by the user. Okay, so define, create a function called define, and then try and put a function name that's descriptive that will tell the reader what this function does. Okay, so if you want to find a so if you want this function to find and return the age of a person, then you can put define find age, right? And then person return dictionary square bracket key name. So this key name is the argument that goes into the function. Okay, so now I print find age of Tyler to print 500. Okay, does anyone have any questions on this for these few lines of code? Any questions? No questions? Okay, that's great. Let's see the next one. Write a program that takes a dictionary of students and their grades. Use a loop to create a list. Okay, let me just try and undo. See if I can get back the. No, okay, it's different. Never mind then. Grades for students and their grades. Okay, so Tyler, of course, he got 100. Me, yeah, average and then Q, Hui, yeah, of course she got 100 too. That's why they can become SOIT school rep. And then, uh, okay, let's use a for loop. Create a list of students who scored above 80. Okay, so let's first create an empty list. Let's use a empty list to store all the students that have scored above 80. Right, so above 80 equals empty list. Square bracket if nothing inside means empty list. Okay, by the way, if you put curly bracket if nothing inside means it's a empty dictionary. Okay, so empty list for person in grades dot keys. Right? Because if you just put for person in grades, grades is not a list, it's a dictionary. So you can't loop through a dictionary like that. You need to find all the keys in the dictionary, which is all the names, then that will become a list. Okay, so for person in grades dot keys, remember call the function and remember the colon is grades key name person. So this now it will evaluate to the score. It will give you the value, right? Because this is a key, so dictionary name square bracket key will give you the value. So if grades square bracket person more than 80, above 80, got a pen person. And then finally, let's just print the list of above 80. So we get Tyler and Xiu Hui, and it's a list. Okay, because it's inside a list. Anyone has questions about this? Oh, you see, again, we're combining for loop and if, and then we are using this in the dictionary. Yeah, any questions? Your mind explode, yeah. Okay, it's okay. We're nearing the end already. We're nearing the end of the thing. Let's see. This is what I did, right? Yeah, this is basically what I did. Yep, yep. Okay, so you can use anything. You can put student, you can put person, you can put name. Remember, this is a variable that only exists inside the for loop. Okay, outside the for loop, this variable doesn't exist. It's called the scope of variable. Okay, next time we'll learn about that. All right, last one. This is the most complex question and like the finale for today. All right, let's build a video game. I'll give you all 1 minute. What time is it? Okay, yeah, 1 minute plus to think about it, and then I will go through the code. Okay, you all can send your ideas into the chat, like what kind of concepts you want to use. Okay, let me start a timer. Oh, start. Yeah, I love Canva, man. Okay. Mm. You can't use ages dot values and then bracket person. Okay, because the values function, it just gives you a list of all the values over there. So it'll give you okay, let me show you. If you print grades dot values, it will show 175 and 100. Okay, so the the word person has nothing to do with this list of 175, 100. Okay. Oh, 1 minute is up. Okay, 4 minutes. So it has nothing to do with this list here. So that's why I guess an error. Because this person, it doesn't fit in values. It's an invalid argument to this function. All right. So you need to check. You need to check. Okay, let me do this another way. Let me do this another way. For grade in grades dot values. Oh, okay. Yeah, this doesn't work. If grade more than 80, above 82 dot pen grade. Okay. Yeah, this is a good example of when you should use keys and when you should use values. Let me just clean this out. You see, it gives 100 and 100. Let me here and print. Okay, so the first one, you will get the names. The second one, you only get the marks. You only get the grades. Okay, and why is this so? Why can't you get the names using this? Because entries in dictionary are identified by their keys. Okay, they are not identified by the values. They're identified by the keys itself. The keys itself. So if you take a key, you can find the value. But if you take a value, you cannot find its corresponding key. Yeah, because how do I stop this thing? Okay, because different keys may have the same value, right? You see over here, Tyler is 100, Hui is also 100. So if I just tell you, find me the key whose value is 100, there are so many. there can be multiple such entries in a dictionary, right? So you cannot identify entries from a value. You can only identify them via keys. So if you want to find the person's name, you need to start with the keys of a dictionary, which is the names. Then only you check whether the grades for that name are more than 80 or not. Okay? If you go with the values, you just get this list over here. You won't know what are the names because you can access this from this, but you cannot access this from this. Okay? All right. Let's start coding this question. You also use dictionaries to store characters, health, and points separately and use function. Okay. Precisely. So, do I code it from scratch or should I just, okay, let me just show you the whole thing here. Yeah, it's only one page long. This is like super short code, man. It's only 39 lines. Let's start with characters. Find age, return agent, person, yeah. Okay. So let's start with some characters with the attack and the health. So yeah, okay, obviously Yoda is more powerful because he's like lived for so long. Then we create a function called attack, right? Because the question asked you to create a function for one character to attack another and then reduce the health based on the attack. So let's look here. Define attack. Arguments or parameters. First one is attacker. Second one is the victim. Or yeah, victim, whatever you call it. Okay. These are just type hints. You can ignore them for now. If the dictionary, the key name, the health is more than 0, okay? So this means you only attack if the victim is still alive. So the victim's health is still more than 0. Let me explain why I got so many square brackets here, okay? Let me key this into. So this is the full dictionary, okay? I hope you've noticed that this dictionary is a dictionary of dictionaries. So this is a key, and this is a value for this key. So the value itself is a dictionary. Okay, it's okay if you don't understand. I know it might be a bit much for you. Yeah, this is a huge jump from previous questions. But basically, you can use a dictionary inside a dictionary. Okay, just try to hang on with me for this explanation here, okay? So characters is a dictionary. If I print characters, Yoda, it will give me the value for this key. Okay, everyone following? Everyone following? Dictionary, square bracket, key name will give you the value for that key. So this whole thing is the value for this key. All right. Now, what if, since this is a dictionary, right? This is a dictionary, and then I think my mouse running out of battery. I cannot highlight properly. Okay. Let's say I want to print this dictionary, and then tag. What will it give me? Give me 120, right? Dictionary, square bracket, key name will give me 120. All right. So if I take this square bracket attack, then you'll give me 120. Okay. So dictionary, key name. So this first part here gives me this. And since this itself is a dictionary, I can again use square brackets and put in the key name to get the value. Okay, so this is the value of the key of this dictionary, which in itself is the value for this key for this dictionary. Okay, yeah, it's quite confusing, but uh using this logic, once you understand this logic of the double dictionary layers, then yeah, you can just do the logic for this game. Okay, let me see. Anything else to explain? Let me explain one more thing. Okay, one more thing. The nested for loop means a for loop inside a for loop. So uh, my list equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For first number in my list. For second number in my list. Print uh first number and the number. Oh, 5 is too much. Let's make it less a bit. It's perfect. So a for loop inside a for loop. So round one, it looks at the first number. Okay. So now we are looking at this first number over here. Second number, it is inside this for loop. So for the first round of the for loop, we will look at each number in my list again. So first number one, second number one, and then the next round of this loop. So loop number two. Okay, this is loop number one. So over here, first number one, second number one, and then next loop. Okay, and then next loop again, second number becomes 3. So now since the second number has finished my list, we go back to the first loop. So now first number is 2, and then again you start from 1, 2, 3. Now the next loop of loop number 1, we will get second number 1, 2, and 3. All right. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, maybe just take some time to understand how this loop works. Yeah. So this is how you loop through this inside a list. So the application for this is over here, where round robin means A attack B, A attack C, and then A attack D, and then B attack A, B attack C, B attack D, and all that. Right, so each person will attack everyone else. So that's why for each attacker, this attacker will attack each victim. Okay, that's what it means. That's what it means. Yeah, that's about it for this. Again, I will send the code. I'll send the code and you all slowly try to understand. For your information, the competition questions will be sort of this level. Yeah, some will be easier. Some will be about this level of questions. Okay? Yeah, yeah. The hardest one removed already. The previously was one that was like, maybe it's like physics. It was like principle of conservation of momentum, and then you need to like bang the wall and slide here, slide there. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Good thing is removed. Okay. So yeah, that's all. Anyone has any questions? I think Tyler explained the return, how the return works already. So I don't have to explain that. If you want, you can export this chat. I think Zoom has the function to export chat. I don't know is there. I don't know if you all can or not. I can. I don't know if you can. Yeah, save chat lah. if you want to keep Tyler's explanations over there.
Okay,
Yep.
maybe
So,
uh oh sorry, Brian, continue first.
yeah, so happy getting bitten by Python. That's all. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Thanks a lot. Wow, you really are the goat. Okay, anyways, yeah, I mean, like, okay, let's just give a round of applause to Brian. I did a really good job explaining everything. Yay. Can you guys give me the reaction? I know you can't hear me. Okay, thank you very much, Ashifu. Okay, so okay, sorry for going a little bit over time. Okay, it's supposed to end at 9:30, but yeah, I mean 15 minutes not that bad. Okay. So just a reminder. Okay, remember for every team, please fill in your name, your team name, and your HackerRank ID in the spreadsheet that Chu Hui sent in the chat. Okay, please do that. Okay. Then if you don't have a HackerRank account, go create one. Okay, and then so everything that Brian covered today, okay, very quality content. So you will be able to solve every question in the competition using whatever Brian taught you today. But of course, it's not going to be that surface level. It's going to be a little bit harder. So you have to use your brain and think a bit. But it's normal to not know how to solve all the questions in the competition. Okay, if you see the questions that you don't know how to solve, don't think that you are stupid because uh, it's just too difficult. Hey, last time when I joined Monash Coding League, I didn't know how to solve a single question in the whole competition. So yeah, maybe I'm stupid, but I don't know. Yeah. So for now, okay, what you guys can do is we will. Is it still recording? Okay, okay. So we will send the recording to all of you. We will also send the slides to all of you. Okay, so please take note of your email. Okay, please look at the email. We will send a reminder for the competition, the details. We will send the recording and we will send the slides. So take your time. Okay, don't be too worried. Take your time. Look through the slides. You can do some self-learning if you want and prepare for the competition. Okay, so this is a very beginner-friendly competition, and it's not competitive, it's a friendly competition. Okay, so don't take it too hard. Just do your best. Okay, don't be worried if you don't really know how to solve all the questions. Then yeah, so remember for competition, it's gonna be closed book, except for these slides. Okay, so the only material you can refer to is the slides that Brian prepared. Okay, so don't go use any generative AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, anything. Okay, that's gonna get you kicked out of the tournament. Okay, so I think if anyone has any questions, right, you can stay back. Okay, I think I'll stay here for a while to answer any questions. And yeah, okay, for just for your information, all the competition questions were set by Chiu Hui. Chiu Hui is a very crack person. So if it's too difficult, then blame her. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Any other closing remarks from anyone? Chiu Hui, got anything you want to say? Good luck, have fun. Yeah, that's what she said, because she's answered the questions. Okay, so I think that should be it from us. Just take a look at the email. We'll send all the necessary information over there. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, just stay back. I'll stay here for a while to answer any questions. Yeah, I think Brian has no voice now. I was gonna ask him to go for karaoke later, but I think he cannot go already. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Okay, thanks so much for joining CodeStart Workshop. Okay, hopefully this has helped you a little bit or maybe a lot in your Python knowledge. Okay, I think Brian managed to cover like first 4 or 5 weeks of FIT 1045 really. So you just go through these slides and then like get familiar to all of the methods and all the functions and everything. Then you can go to your FIT 1045 and like become like God. Yeah, people will worship you. Got flex it to Huishan. Yeah. Okay, I don't stop listening to me yet, but I can just leave if you want. I think it's done already. You can stop the recording right here.